every project has its own specialness, but Jumanji stands out to me because it really, really changed my life and the opportunities that came as a result of it. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Christmas on Call because of Jumanji. I'd like to think large in part. So it's so much fun getting to be a kid again and to play make believe, and Jumanji is the precipice of that,
Kristen Maldonado here, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pop Culture Planet podcast, where we cover the world of entertainment while shining a light on representation and inclusion. I am so excited to chat with today's guest, SerDarius Blain, who you might know best from the Jumanji movies, Charmed, and even some of your favorite Hallmark Christmas movies. Enjoy the conversation. Before we get into, all the amazing projects you're currently working on, I kind of wanted to go back a little bit and just hear about, did you always have dreams of acting and performing? Where did that sort of love come from?
Yeah, you know what? I think I always secretly wanted to do it, but it seemed like such a pipe dream almost, it seemed like an impossible, sort of dream and goal as a kid. And so I was good at academics. I had great grades, and I come from a Caribbean family who's very big on be a doctor, be a lawyer, be, an engineer, etc. And so I set my sights on doing that. And I actually was a biology major for my first 2 years in college. I grew up in Florida, so I don't get an opportunity to see a lot of actors or performers. Maybe a lot of athletes and stuff like that, but never saw anyone that looked like me on camera or anything like that, or in my neighborhoods or anything like that. So as I got older and I started falling into plays and performing, my ex-girlfriend actually got me into acting. And every time I would take her to a play rehearsal or an audition, I would always get sucked into it and would end up booking one of the lead roles. And so I guess you could say I was kind of a natural, but of course it took me going to school, going to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts to really hone my skills and everything like that. I dropped out of med school. I was on my way to med school, dropped out of my biology major my second year in, and moved up to New York and gave this thing a shot.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean,
Yeah,
obviously it worked. So
it worked out.
you said that you hadn't really seen people like yourself or people that you felt represented by to do this. So what was that first time that you remember seeing a character or a story or something that you were like, "Oh, I kind of see myself in that."
Um, Funny, it was two things. When I was little, Hook had just come out with Robin Williams, and I saw the Lost Boys, and I was like, "Oh my God, I want to be a Lost Boy." And then Will Smith came onto the scene with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that just kind of rocked my world because I was like, "Oh my God, he looks like the kind of person I want to be when I grow up." He looked like my cousins. All of the crazy scenarios and everything like that looked like some of the wacky things that were happening around my household at the time between me and my cousins and my brother and everything like that. And so I was like, I'm going to do that. That's really cool. I mean, there was a show on Nickelodeon called Gullah Gullah Island
Mhm.
that I really, really loved too. And then there was Are You Afraid of the Dark and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff like that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of those. I was like, man, I want to do all of that. But again, it seemed like such a distant goal and something that might be unattainable. And so I squelched my dreams a little bit because I didn't think that it was really possible.
I think it's so funny that you mentioned you were gonna go to med school because now in one of your recent Hallmark movies, Christmas on Call, you play someone who has that sort of background, and worked
Yeah.
in that EMT medical field. So were you able to pull any inspiration from that time back in the day when it came to this project?
Most definitely. I always say my dad was extremely disappointed that I didn't go on to be a doctor until he saw me act for the first time. And then he was like, "Oh, okay, you're really good." So anytime I get the chance to don a lab coat or a stethoscope in any project, I make sure I send him a picture and he goes nuts over it. But yeah, I definitely took some of my anatomy and physiology and biology classes. I took all those into account while I was preparing for the role. It was really, really cool getting a chance to hang out with real EMTs, real doctors, real firefighters and stuff like that on set in Winnipeg. So that was really great. But yeah, always pull inspiration from that era of my life. when I get opportunities to play anything in the medical profession.
It's a really fun Christmas movie, but there are some really intense moments. Like when you guys had that huge fire scene, I was like, I feel like I've never
Yeah.
seen something like this in
In
a
a Hallmark, right?
movie. So what was something like that like to film?
Such a great time. One thing about me, anytime I get an opportunity to work with Hallmark, first of all, it's a huge blessing, but also I always try to, make sure that they know on the creative side that I'm always looking for something that kind of pushes the envelope a little bit. This is also an interracial couple, which is, not done so often on Hallmark. And I got a great opportunity to work with Sarah Canning. But I got my chance to do something a little bit different at Hallmark with this really cool action scene where we literally went into a burning building and got an opportunity to show off a little Fast and Furious, a little heroism there. The people that work in as first responders are true heroes, and so it was really really cool to be able to highlight that in this movie as well.
What has it been like for you kind of joining that Hallmark family? I love personally how I feel like over the last few years they've become like so much more diverse and inclusive and telling like different stories. So what has that been like for you?
Caribbean Summer was the first one that I got to do with Heather Hemmings about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
This is only my third Hallmark project in the last in within a 3 year span. By the time this comes out, initially, I'll be perfectly honest with you, my team was like sort of leaning against me going and doing a Hallmark movie because I think that there's sort of some tropes and stuff that come along with being part of the Hallmark family. But something about the project, that first project, Caribbean Summer, I got to read it and I was like, this isn't a typical Hallmark movie. It's very different. It's got some drama to it as well. And me, no matter what project I do, I'm never gonna let it become, cookie cutter or anything like that. I'm always gonna bring elements of myself and my real life into it. And Hallmark has given me a pass to be able to do that, and I'm really so grateful for being able to be a collaborator with them. They really, really let me bring my own creativity to it, and so it's been a really, really fun ride between Caribbean Summer, and then moving on to Holidays, which came out last Thursday, with such a really cool, diverse cast that represents what the world really looks like. And now to be able to do Christmas on Call and really give a great shout out to our first responders that really save the world on a daily basis. I've been lucky to be a part of this new era of Hallmark where they're getting opportunities to tell hard-hitting stories that still have that family element, that still have that all-inclusive sort of element to it. And I'm really, proud to be a part of this commitment to diversity that they've been on for the last couple of years as well. They've hired a lot of really diverse actors, whether it be sexual orientation, race. They're always going to empower women as they always have since their inception. This is the dawn of a new day at Hallmark, and movies like Christmas on Call, shows like Holidays, movies like Caribbean Summer, and more are sort of leading the charge for that, and they've let me be a big piece of that, and I'm really excited about it.
I love it. I think it's incredible and just really shows how they're trying to keep up with their audiences and bring in a lot of new people as well, which I think is so
Yeah.
cool. I know you had a big breakout in Jumanji. That is one of my favorite film franchises. What can you tell us about what it's been like kind of experiencing that project and coming back again, for a whole new adventure?
Yeah, man, Jumanji is one of those life changers that you remember till you die and will live on much after I'm here on this earth. And that was just a blessing in itself. I thought I had zero shot at booking that project, to be honest with you, because I knew somebody that was on hold, the exact role that I went in for. And he's a fantastic actor as well, so I was like, I got no shot. Um, but it's just been really great being part of the creative process with Kevin Hart, with Dwayne Johnson, with Karen Gillian, Jack Black, Nick Jonas, Alex Wolf, Morgan, um, Madison Eisman. Everybody is just such a really really great collective of fantastic performers. But also on the producing side of things, Jake Kasdan and Matt Tomac, Scott Finkner, all those really, really great writers and producers and the director, they really all care about what everyone has to say about the project, and that's what makes it great. If someone from catering has a great idea, they'll take it into account, they'll jot it down. And so I think that the best projects involve the greatest collaborators on earth, and that team, along with Sony, is the greatest collaboration that I've ever been a part of. Every project has its own specialness, but Jumanji stands out to me because it really, really changed my life, and the opportunities that came as a result of it. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Christmas on Call because of Jumanji. I'd like to think large in part. So it's so much fun getting to be a kid again, and to play make believe. And Jumanji is the precipice of that.
And I know they're making a third one that they just announced. So, have you
Right.
heard anything about that yet? Are you excited? What can you tell us?
Super excited. Haven't heard anything about it. I know that we were originally supposed to shoot another Jumanji in 2020, but first the world fell apart at that point. And so we had to put it on the back burner until everyone's schedules made sense. But at the end of the second movie that we made, the animals had come out into the real world. So I can say that it'll likely have something to do with us trying to get them back into Jumanji. But we shall see. We shall see. You guys know about as much as I do, I promise.
That'll be really fun though, because I feel
Yeah.
like it'll tie back to that first original one where,
Yeah.
in this world, it's been fun going into the world. Now it'll be fun to come back out. I think I told you when we met at the Hallmark Christmas party, I first was introduced to you on Charmed.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the reboot. I'd love to hear what it was like for you working on that project. I mean, that one was so much fun with, the magic, and I feel like you got to tap into some of your like Haitian background with
Yeah.
the magic that they introduced. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, the writers and the producers on that project were fantastic and really wanted to know where we wanted our characters to go. They took into account my actual heritage, which is Haitian and Dominican, and
I'm
they
Dominican
gave me
too.
hey Dominicana get the cosa. They really gave us an opportunity to add in some really great cultural elements. CW has always been super collaborative, and CBS, which was actually our parent company there. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't want to play with magic and stuff as kids? And like I always say, I get the opportunity to play make believe as a grown up, and it beats the heck out of losing someone on an operating table. Someone who's got a really serious job, and so I'm really really grateful to be able to play and let the grown ups do the real hard hitting stuff. Charmed was a very interesting chapter of my life, and getting a chance to be playing with witches and warlocks and vanquishing demons and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun.
You've been a part of so many cool projects. Like, have you ever like stolen anything from the set? Like, is there anything you're just like, oh, this is something that like I cherish because I like stole that from this set that I just love being a part of?
Clothes usually. It's just something really cool that I would never pick out for myself to put me in. I'm like, it's really cool. Can I keep this? And sometimes they'll just be like, I'm gonna look this way and you're gonna go that way. So that's always really cool. But for a physical item, but I always steal memories from every set. Getting an opportunity to you know do something that'll never be done again. And every time that we're with a specific cast or with that cast in that moment in time, and you'll never all be together again. And so I always liken it to almost like being a part of a summer camp. It's always really really fun to be able to create new memories and just sort of stop and smell the roses. In that particular moment in time. And so that's what I do on every single set I'm ever on.
And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of memories, this year is 15 years of Countdown to Christmas. So I was
Well,
wondering if you have a favorite memory, from your time at Hallmark, whether it's on the recent projects or anything like that.
oh man, I've got great memories from each of them. Uh, the one that you just mentioned, which was that uh, burning building scene. During that time, my mom was going through the major health scare, so she got to be on set with me during that time and see me work. Also, I mentor about 500 actors that I have in a group chat that I help, move along in their careers, and we work out scenes together and stuff like that. And a good little group of them got to come and be on set with me that day. Production allowed them to be there with me to see it all happening live. Some of them are grad students, some of them are still in school, and some of them have been working in the business for a while. So it was really really cool to sort of put um, you know put all of that into action and let them see it firsthand and be at the monitors and be a part of the project as well. So that was a really cool time.
Oh, I love that. So, is mentoring something that's like important to you in this industry?
Absolutely. I had some fantastic mentors growing up in the business, and I always wanted to position myself to be one for other people and to help them along. It's a really, really tough business. It's not something you can do by yourself. And so getting an opportunity to sort of send the elevator back down and help people along the way has been a blessing.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that so much. Well, I want
Mhm.
to thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on everything. You're killing it. I'm so excited to see everything else that you're working on. And, yeah, thank you for everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's always great to see your face.
You can watch the video podcast at youtube.com/kmaldo. That's KAYMALDO. Listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast listening platforms, or check out our site at popcultureplanet.net. If you enjoyed the episode, consider subscribing so you know when a new one is posted. Rate and review this podcast and share it with your fellow pop culture lovers. Thanks for listening. It's been a blast, and I'll catch you in the latest episode. Consider subscribing if you like this video and get even more entertainment news at popcultureplanet.net. See ya!